Pavel Rafailovich Bermondt-Avalov was born on March 16, 1877, or March 4 on the Julian calendar that was in use at the time, in Tbilisi, within the Tiflis Governorate of the Russian Empire, present-day Georgia. He adopted the secondary surname of Avalov, or Avalishvili, after his adoptive father, Georgian Prince Mikhail Avalishvili. He received a musical education, before joining their Ussuri Cossacks in 1906 after serving as a musical conductor in the Transbaikal Cossacks. He then joined a regiment of lancers in 1909 and was promoted to captain in 1914. Shortly after this, Bermondt-Avalov was appointed to lead the German-established Western Russian army, often called the Bermondtians, which was meant to go to fight the Bolshevik forces during the Russian Civil War. But, believing that the Bolsheviks would be defeated without his help, he decided to strike against the newly independent nations of Lithuania and Latvia instead. His Special Russians Corps reportedly numbered about 50,000 men. During this period, he was one of the few anti-Bolshevik generals who openly promoted monarchist ideals. After being promoted to Major General in 1918, he took over their white forces in Latvia and Lithuania from Prince Anatoly Ulvan, who commanded a contingent in the Baltische Landwehr. In 1919, Avalov's forces joined those of Major General Rudiger von der Goltz to form the West Russian Volunteer Army, which attempted to proclaim their Western Central Government in Riga. The German Free Corps had been operating in Latvia since the spring of 1919 to keep the Bolsheviks at bay. In the summer of 1919, the Entente and the German government ordered the troops back, but the soldiers refused. Until the beginning of October 1919, there were about 10,000 Russian volunteers, mostly former prisoners of war released from German camps, in the Bermondt Army. With this masquerade the Germans tried to keep their engagements in the Baltics and secure German interests in the area. Since the German government stopped paying the troops, finances were coming mostly from German economic leaders that had interests in the Baltics. By the end the army was printing its own money. The Western Russian army managed to capture Zemgorly, Courland apart from Hyarpaya, and Samojisha. They did enter Riga, but later were defeated by the Latvian and Lithuanian armies, with the help of the Estonian forces. This Baltic diversion heavily contributed to Bermondt-Avalov's reputation as an adventurer, especially among Latvian historians. Under pressure of the Baltic independent states, the Entente and the German government withdrew Avalov's forces. By mid-December 1919 the last Russo-German soldiers crossed the borders into Tilsit, in East Prussia, now Sovetsk in Kaliningrad. After this, Pavel Bermondt-Avalov emigrated to Western Europe, where he published his memoirs. He lived in Germany from 1921, and was involved in right-wing and fascist movements. Being strongly supportive of National Socialism, he established his own movement, the Russian National Social Movement. He was imprisoned by the Nazi regime in 1939, along with other Russian exiles, and deported. He later settled in Belgrade before moving to the United States. He died in New York City, in the United States, on December 27, 1973, aged 90. Pavel